Hello YouTube, Jerry Kirkpatrick here, and I would think anybody that has a small workshop at their home, whether it be metal or wood, has a bandsaw, probably from a low buck store or one that may not be of the best quality. Even if it is a good one, you may not have changed your blade in a long time. For probably the home shop, you may still have the blade in it that you purchased, that came with the bandsaw when you purchased it. And I'm going to make a couple of videos here that will hopefully change that for you. I know the larger shops, if you have a like a dual bandsaw, it has a saw blade welding machine right on it. What I'm going to be walking you through in the next couple of videos is how you can make either repairs to a broken blade like I have here, both for my metal and wood bandsaw, by using silver solder instead of having to weld the blades. Almost everybody, if you have your bandsaw, if you have hopefully oxyacetylene, you'll be able to make your own repairs. And what I have is for my woodworking bandsaw, this one I just broke recently, and that's why I'm doing this video, is I have two blades here that I want to repair. This one I've got clamped together, getting ready to dress the ends, and we'll show you that in the next video. I have one metal cutting blade that is broken and one that is brand new. Instead of having to go to your manufacturer, doesn't matter who manufactured the saw, you don't necessarily have to go to them to make new blades for yourself or be stuck with the pitch, the number of teeth per inch that they have available for you. I have blade stock in bulk, so I can make them any size and change the number of teeth that I want to use, either for wood, for aluminum, or for steel. And we'll be going through that in the next video. I have for wood, what I've been using is a 3/8 by 4 teeth. Cuts wood just great, and I have cut from 16 gauge to 1 inch thick aluminum with it on the wood cutting bandsaw. Thing is a jet. It just moves very fast. For the steel, my old Carolina bandsaw, this one is 3/4 by 32 teeth, and that cuts steel pretty good, from say 1/8 inch on up. Once you get above a quarter, maybe a half inch, it's very, very slow. But I do have some, no, half. I have 1/2 inch by 6 teeth, and that may be a little bit better for the thicker steel, moving fairly slow. I'm going to make one and give it a try, see how it works. But before we can get to either repairing or making new saw blades, my wood cutting machine takes 124 inches of band, and my steel cutting takes 115. So the ones that I want to use for either the wood or the steel have to be cut to that specific size. But the one that I have that is what, 1/4 by 14, I'm going to try that in both the wood cutting and the metal cutting saw, just to see how it works. If it doesn't, I mean, I've got almost 50 feet of it, so if it doesn't work, I can always cut it and make it into whatever I want, or just throw it away and make a new one for the whichever saw is appropriate for that particular pitch of tooth. But before we get to that, we need to make a fixture with which to do our silver soldering. And for that, all I need is a piece of 1/4 by 2, and this is 9 inches long. And the only reason it's 9 inches long is because it's the closest piece that will do me that I found in the scrap. I also need a piece of 1/8 by 1.25 inches that I had to cut to the appropriate length. And then I have 2 pieces of 1/8 by 1 cut maybe 1.25 inches long. That'll be brazed, silicon bronze actually, to the back of the angle iron as a fence. So let's get these over on the layout table, lay them out, drill the holes, cut a little slot, so there's an open area to do the brazing, silver soldering, so it doesn't pull the heat away from where we're working. So let's get over there and make this fixture. So as I stated earlier, the material that you use is up to you. The reason I'm using this piece of angle iron, which is 1/4 by 2 by 2 and 9 3/8 inches long, is because that was what I found in my remnants just outside the shop here. And the other piece I will be using is a piece of 1/8 by 1.25 inches, and I just cut that to the 9 3/8, which is also arbitrary. And then I have these 2 small pieces that are 1/8 by 3/4 by 1, and those will become a stop on the back to align my fence. This is going to become a fence on the slot that I will be making right here, and I'll be having a 13/64 hole here, which is a tap size for 1/4-20. So let me get these holes drilled This will be a 1/2 inch hole. This will be a 13/64. So let me go over to the drill press, get these done. So now I have the 1/2 inch hole drilled and the 13/64 for the 1/4-20 tap here, and you'll see this will be used to hold the fence down as I set up the saw blade. So next I'm going to go and make a cut to make a slot in this area here. So now that the slot is cut in here and we have the hole for the 1/4-20, the next thing we're going to do is place these small pieces back here that will become a stop for the fence. And the way we're going to position those, we have 2 marks here that are 3/16 of an inch in where these will be placed. So I just put that on the table, line up the ends there. Clamp those in place. Put this in the vise. Place a 3/4 inch stop. Place my fence stop up against this piece here. That gets me a 1/8 of an inch above the top of the surface here. I'm going to tighten this one up a little bit more because we're going to be jostling this thing around somewhat. There we go. So we're going to loosen this. Get rid of all of that. And now I'm ready to affix the stops here to the main body, and I've elected to use my Heliarc and use silicone bronze to affix the stop to the main body. So let me get that done. So we now have the stops for the fence installed. We can get the fence itself put in place and clamped. Now we can use a transfer punch to choose the point where we're going to drill the 1/4 inch hole, to use the thumb screw to keep the fence in place while we're setting up the saw blade. So let me get this drilled, a 1/4 inch, and tap this hole for a 1/4-20. So here you can see that I've got my vise turned on a 45-degree on the corner of the table, and that's so I could have the blade coming out this way and coming around on the other side. So here is the brazing or silver soldering fixture with the cutout. This is where the silver solder will be taking place, and if you notice, this is offset, and that is so I can clamp this and be able to get a couple of vice grips on either side and not be hampered by the vise itself. And then here is the fence that's going to keep the back edge of the saw blade away from the parent material here, the major portion of the fixture, because I don't want it drawing the heat away from the joint that I make. So I'll just put that there. Now this is it's a broken, as you can see, thumb screw, and this is one of those times that you break something or you get something that you think you should be throwing away, and probably should, but you just throw it in the box anyway. And this is a perfect place for this, because as seldom as I'm going to be making my own saw blades, I don't need to go out and buy a $2 or $3 thumb screw. This will be used once for each blade. Once the blade is silver soldered up, this is going to be put in a cabinet somewhere and probably won't be used for another 5 or 10 years. So there's no need in going out and spending any good money when I have a piece like that already. So let me show you how the blade is going to be placed in here. Okay, so here I have my fixture in the vise. Here is the broken saw blade. I'm going to put it right up against the fence and bring it over until it is halfway in between this slot. And I'm going to put 2 clamps on it, that way it won't twist. I'm going to bring the other side up, get the spacing that I want. Clamp it. Now there's too much space in here, but we'll get to that in the next video. So there we go. You can see that the center of the split is in the center of this relief, and this gives me plenty of room to do the silver soldering. So that's about it for this video. The next one, I'll be preparing several different blades and showing you how to set it up. We're wanting about 3 thousandths space in between to do the silver soldering. So thank you very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and ring the bell. We'll see you on the next one.